Hi, welcome, my beautiful angels. Today I want to talk to you about how to be a wife and don't be a slave. Maybe you will find this topic interesting, or maybe you will ask yourself, what do you mean by being like a slave? Of course, I'm a very independent person, blah, 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 blah. So let's begin. Please leave me a comment below and see, let's just see where that conversation is going to take us. I want to start with the fact that of course, I've posted quite a few videos about being a trad wife and whatnot. But the more I'm looking into this subject and into this topic, it just seemed to me that all the ladies do is literally clean and cook and wait for their husband to come back and then clean and cook. And although this is such a beautiful way of living and this is the way we live as well, I live that way. But I just feel like the whole picture is distorted because this is not the only thing that you actually do as a woman, and there's so much more to it. So I'm just gonna walk away from calling myself a trad wife. I feel like I am traditional wife with a twist. Okay, I think that's how I want to call myself, because I still believe in the values that the trad wife believe. But there are certain aspects that I don't agree with. And unfortunately, I don't want to call myself a trad wife if I don't really have that same mentality and perception. Because being a woman is not always about looking beautiful and just, going do the chores and looking after your kids. There's so much more when it comes to spirituality and mental health and things that connects us to life and looking after everyone and looking after ourselves and pampering ourselves. So I like a bit of both words, if you like, okay? Of course, when I stayed at home for the first time and, I just had some time off completely when my husband was providing and working and, until that day, he still is doing that. That's not going to change because that's my personal beliefs that a man needs to provide basic things. However, I do start to do some work from home and I absolutely love it. More than doing the work, it was all about my friend. I had an appointment with my friend because I needed to do some insurance for both of us, for me and Peter. And he just asked me what I'm doing, like, what's the income? And I said to him, I don't work at the moment. He was like, oh, great, you're enjoying life. And she was like, I'm just looking for somebody who can help me. And I said, great, what can I do? I love helping, of course. And he was like, oh, we're going to talk about it. It's a really easy job. You're just going to pick up some phones. And then it turned out that he was actually... Maybe that's what he was looking for, but I think I upgraded myself to the level that he just had to give me, he just had to give me a title and had to give me a small pay raise straight away. And up to this day, I'm still here and I'm still enjoying doing that because I love everything when it comes to properties and mortgages and, things like this. It's just something that I just love. Properties, like the topic of it, it makes my heart sick. Construction, building, renting it, making the old properties looking beautiful. I just love that subject. So I'm doing something that I absolutely love. And but what's important is that my mentality hasn't changed, okay? This is my extra income, whatever it is. Everything that I was talking about is still very valid and up to date. When we talk about men providing and women staying at home, which I still am. I am still staying at home and I'm still doing the things that I used to do. It's so important to remember that you're not his slave and you're not his mate. And I think that's something that traditional wives are not articulating very correctly, because I've seen quite a lot of videos, okay? And I just couldn't find anyone who would really... from one point when I was staying at home, it was really nice to be part of a community, and the community that I really thought they are closest to my heart. And I think up to this day, if I would call myself anything, I'm probably very close to the trad wives than I am to anybody else. But I still feel there is a twist that I'm just not 100% like them. When the trad wives talks about always looking beautiful, always looking after the house, making sure that the dinner is ready when he's come back home. I think that's a lot of pressure, and nobody's saying like, listen, right now I'm tired, okay? Maybe I'm not feeling good. Maybe I have my days, maybe I have period, and I'm not gonna cook today, okay? What the tradwives community doesn't really explain very well is that sometimes we don't feel very well. We need to let men to handle our job, and that's absolutely fine. And up to this day, I still believe that that's what we're supposed to be doing. And I'm going to give you the small example from my personal life. Apart from all the friends that I've seen doing the wrong bit and then my own family doing that, my mom was staying at home. I would call her a tradwife. Sometimes she would go to work, get some extra money, and come back to the normal lifestyle. But I would say she was very much like a tradwife, okay? What I didn't like and what I told her is that every time when my father would come back home, he wouldn't lift his finger. And I don't feel that's right. Because in my marriage, I established that very quickly, that even though I'm going to do most of the stuff, most of the cleanings, most of this and this, my husband is still required to do his own work, okay? So he is the one who's going to clean the bathroom. He is the one who's going to clean after himself. He still has hands. He's a capable human being, and we need to allow him to do it. Because if you're going to be trapped into the being a maid situation, so he wouldn't lift his finger because you're always there. You're always going to pick up the cup. You're always going to, he's going to be like, he's going to call your name. You're like, yes, honey, what do you need? And then it's going to happen again. And yes, honey, how can I help? In his head, you're not going to be a goddess that you are. You're not going to be a princess that you're required to be. So very quickly, what you can see is that he's going to lose the interest because you're always available. You're always there. You always talk nice. You always act right. This is a fake. And I'm not saying that the tradwives are fake. I'm just saying that what we see on internet and how they explain themselves and how a lot of them, just show their life to us, it's not very real life. And I don't know if that's something that they actually do or that's just something that they're showing in front of the camera. I just feel like there is a lot of depth that's needed. How we can actually be a wife and do our part, but not be a slave. Again, you need to establish the boundaries very quickly in your relationship. And when you don't feel like doing it, like let's say you've been just tired all day long for whatever reason, or you had your period, or there is something that happened, you just can't be bothered to cook tonight. Let's just order something, or ask him to cook, or wait for your husband to come back home and say, listen, honey, I just don't feel like cooking today. Do you want to cook something for us? Or maybe we can just order something tonight. That's how easy it is. And I got to this trap myself when we started that, when we started to live together. I just thought like, I always have to be there. I always have to have the breakfast and dinner and everything ready. And to the point when one day I was just lying down and he came back from work and he was like, you okay? And I said, yeah, I've been just like not feeling very well today. And that was honest, that was the truth. And he said like, okay, lay down and I'm going to cook something for you. Okay. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I know you've been working and I wasn't doing much, whatnot today. And he said like, listen, don't worry. Like I have hands and I can make my own dinner. And that made me thinking like, my mom, she would cook every single day. She would just always make sure that there is something ready to eat. There wasn't a day or situation when my father would came back home and there wasn't be something to eat. And being honest, for a few good, maybe for a year now, really, we kind of share that cooking responsibilities. And from time to time, over the weekend, my husband will do that because he's a great cook and sometimes he can make such a lovely, delicious food. And, I think he also enjoys to share that with me. But I wouldn't push him. I wouldn't put it on him and say, you're cooking today because you're also a man and we need to share responsibility. Like, no, I think the connection that you have together, that's the most important part. He's going to feel your energy and where he can come to help. And believe me, men are so lovely helpers that they will do anything to make you happy and make you pleased. So that's why when my husband took I wouldn't say that he took a lot, but it was just a small bits and bobs that was annoying me, and he's doing this very well. And that's great, you know. If I'm gonna ask him to clean the floor, he will do it. If I'm gonna ask him to do this and this, he will do it. I think there are three types of women. There are women who will do everything, and they will be a maid, basically. They will clean, cook, make sure he's never gonna lift his finger. My mom used to have a friend, and he was a great guy, but he was very lazy at home. Okay, so she was friends with the guy, and every time when she would visit them, he wouldn't lift his finger. And the wife would always say, "Oh, he will never live without me. He would never be able to do anything without me. He doesn't even know where his socks are. He just doesn't have a clue. I need to be there for him. He will always need me." And then there was a situation when my mom and him met abroad, because they were both, my mom was abroad and he was working abroad. And what happened was, he actually had a lover, okay? He was cheating on his wife. And for the first time, my mom noticed that he would do everything for that new girl, like everything. The girl would wrap him around his finger, and she wouldn't do anything. He would cook, he would clean, he would, take her clothes out of the washing machine. Like, he would do everything for him. And remember, the friend used to say, like, he wouldn't lift his finger without her. So it just shows that for the right person, for the right woman, men can do anything because they're very capable of doing everything. Unless you're going to teach him that's not the case, and you're going to take everything on yourself. So that's one type of woman. There are second type of women on the other spectrum, is that she's not going to lift her finger and she's not going to do anything. And there are not a lot of women like this. I would say vast majority right now are the women who do everything. I'm going to talk about the ones in the middle, which is where I think this is like a most beautiful place to be, and this is just healthy for you and healthy for him. But a woman on this type of spectrum, they just going to look after herself all the time and ignoring the rest of the world. I would say that those type of women are usually very neglectful mothers, and they are usually very independent women as well. So what would happen was, they would probably have a lot of respect and the love from the guy, because, men love bitches, and let's be honest, this is the way it is. But they would come back from work, and they would straight away go to the gym. They would go to the kickboxing classes. They would go out with their friends. They would do everything, but not staying at home. So what would happen in this situation? The man has to take on responsibility when it comes to the house. And a lot of the times, of course, he's going to be working full time, because that's the dynamic that it's going to be. So he will be working full time. He's going to get back home. He's going to pick up the kids. He's going to cook. He's going to clean. He's going to do the shopping. He's going to do pretty much everything. And she's just going to get back from work, from the classes, from the friends, and she's just gonna be there and smile and pretend everything is fine. Well, it would be fine. It's probably fine for her, but I don't think it's fine for the family situations. I was traveling from England to Poland, and there were a few ladies who sat next to me. They were quite older ladies, and they've been chatting about the situation, that there is at home, because they would come to visit their sons. It was so interesting to notice that one lady would be saying that woman is not doing anything. She wouldn't clean, she wouldn't cook, she wouldn't do anything. And the boy would, the man, the husband, the sons would do the vast majority of the work. And I was like, okay, yeah, I've heard you. And, we kind of connected, and we spoke a bit. And I was laughing, because I think it's a great situation to be at, but as I said, it's maybe not so great for the family life and for the kids, to the point where apparently the kids would ask the mom after 8 or 9 o'clock, "Mom, we're still hungry, can I have a bit of more dinner?" And she would tell them that you're already fat enough, just get the water from the fridge and go to bed. She wouldn't cook. She wouldn't even make a bloody sandwich. No. I don't think this is right. And to be honest, if I would be a man, I would probably be out by then. Because it's not good motherhood experience. It's not good for the kids. They feel like they only have the dad, And I feel when they grow up older, they always will go to the dads, for help, for advice. The connection between dads and kids will be brilliant, but the dad will have to take on responsibility as the wife. And I think he will have to become a bit more feminine as well in his being, because he would need to give what the mother can't give. So that's the other side of the spectrum. And believe me, I've known quite a few women on that side, but vast majority, I would say, it's still the women who do everything. And then you have a woman in between who would have this beautiful balance. They would find that there are certain things that the man can help with, and they would give the responsibility for the man. And how this can happen is where you need to allow the man to be a man. You cannot be his mother, you can't be his sister, you can't be his co-worker. You need to be the wife. So when there is something required from you to do, but you just feel like he would be the great person to pick it up because of whatever reason, allow him to do it. Okay? I would say that the change is first within us. A lot of the times men want to do things, but energetically we just don't allow them to do it, okay? We just hold on to the stuff so much because we feel like he's not able to do it, or he's not going to do this well enough, or that he's going to hurt himself. We give men so many excuses that they can't do something and that we are better to do it, that you would rather do it yourself. It also happens a lot at work. You can see those managers that believe that they're going to do the work better than the workers. So they ending up doing the work that they shouldn't be doing, because I'm going to do it the best way possible. And that's not true. A lot of other people could probably do it better, but that's what they believe. If there is a belief in you that he still won't be able to do it, allow him to start small. Yeah, maybe it's just to pick up the kids because he's going there anyway, and you always did that, but maybe he can do it. Or allow him to make a shopping for a week, and don't criticize him when he forgets about it, because what happened was, and probably that happened very early on in the relationship, that he tried to do something for you, yet you gaslighted him and say, how could you not think of this? Or I don't know, for example, he did some small shopping. He wanted to make you happy. He brings shopping back and you're like, I cannot believe you didn't buy the milk. I just cannot believe it, we need milk. We're going to need it for the baby tomorrow. Like, why would you forget? And then there is a drama about the fact that he didn't buy milk. And that's going to stick to him for the rest of whatever. He's not going to think about it all the time, but it's going to be the feeling. Every time when he wants to go and do the shopping, he's going to be like, oh, probably I'm not going to do it good enough. She's not going to be happy. Let her do it. Yeah. And that's how it starts. And that can go from small things to very big things, like planning. Okay. And I've done that mistake and I'm trying to unlearn it, because I love planning holidays and I just love planning in general because I like to be in control. I'm the person that likes to be in control. However, at the beginning of the relationship, I wasn't planning a thing, I wasn't lifting my finger. He would plan everything. He would take me to places. He would do it all. And because I wanted to get a bit of more control, and I started to plan it, and I started to say that, the way you're planning is not good enough. So I've done that mistake as well. And I was trying to unlearn from it. And, give him a bit more space because he loves planning and he loves traveling and seeing places, and he was really good. But what was happening is every time when we will go somewhere, we will go to Edinburgh, he gave me so many points to visit. It was great, but I was feeling tired. It was just too intense for me. And I tried to tell him that, it was a great day, but it was just too much. So when he would do it again and again, I would be like, okay, like, you're not planning anymore. You're not planning, and I'm going to be the one who's going to plan. And it turns out well, but I've noticed that few situations like this happen, and he's now getting to the point when he asks and asks and asks. And even the thing that he couldn't just go ahead and do it, he wants to ask because he had a feeling I'm not going to be pleased. So as you can see, everybody do the mistakes, and I'm the one who's still learning and doing it. But there's a lot of the things that I've done right, and I want you to do it right as well. Establish very early at your, the first time when you're gonna living together. After the wedding, you start living together. This is the time when you're learning. You learn how he works and how do you want to work. So there's gonna be a lot of triggering happening. Our first year was probably the hardest one, from what I remember, and there was a lot of fightings and a lot of things that didn't go the way I wanted to. But I think the most important bit is that we healed from it. We learned how to act on it. And now we can expand and move forward. I love the healing bit because there was a lot of things that I didn't want him to know. I didn't want him to be part of my life as much as he could be. But I was slowly open, and I never walked away. Let me just check the time. I still have few minutes to go, so let's come back to the main subject, how not to be a slave. Allow him to do as much as possible. Second is make a time for yourself, super important, and get to do your own hobby, get to do something that's not going to be destructive to your relationship, okay? I'm not saying go and date other people, like other men, but something that it requires your feminine energy and being a woman. So whether it's dancing, doing some sort of sport which is going to make you healthy and more glowing, do that, okay? Find the time and stick to it as much as possible. Sometimes what happens is when you didn't do something for a while and then you want to do something, he will be like a kid, okay? So he knows that you have your classes booked on Saturday. Yet all of a sudden he is asking you, on Friday evening, he's asking you to go out on Saturday at the same time when your classes goes. So rather than getting mad and say, I told you I have classes on Saturday, which is what happens a lot, we're getting triggered because we know he's doing this on purpose. But rather than acting and reacting on it, this is happening in his head, and he's just trying to trigger you, and he's trying to see how motivated and how strong you're going to be in what you said. You're going to be like, oh, thank you so much, honey. I would love to go with you because we haven't been out for a very long time, but I just cannot skip the classes, okay? Can we go another time? Can we go on Sunday maybe? And if he's going to say no because I'm busy on Sunday, they say, okay, great. Maybe you're going to, maybe we're going to go another time, and just leave the room. Don't drill on it. Don't get mad, and definitely go and do the classes. He needs to see that you are motivated, that you are devoted to what you said you're going to do. Because if your boundary is going to be like, I'm going, I'm not going. Oh, he's going to ask me out, so now I'm going to drop my mates, I'm going to drop my classes. That's not going to be a lot of fun. There is a possibility that he will not do the part, and you will get mad again on him because you could be elsewhere and having actual fun. So if you want to go out with him and he's offering, make sure he's going to do it when you actually can't do it, and don't drop the thing that you're going to do. Have respect for yourself. The next thing is don't get mad and don't allow him to control you emotionally. Every time when you're getting mad, baby, I'm telling you now, he knows you. A lot of the things maybe is very unconscious. I'm not saying that men are bad people and they're doing everything to trigger you. And we know how to trigger each other. Sometimes when he gets into the fight or he just wants to push your boundaries, don't allow him to do it. Stay as calm as possible. And that's how you're going to teach him that he doesn't have emotional control over you. I would say every time when he is triggering you, do something for yourself. Go out, have your nails done, have your hair done, have your makeup done, go and read the book, exercise, go and do the classes. There's so many things that you can do in today's society, in today's world. Maybe just go for a walk and don't think about him. Listen to some music, make yourself a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. Maybe not a coffee because that's not gonna be good for you, but maybe just a tea, and that will do the trick. And teach him that you're not going to be controlled over emotionally, and you're not going to let him to walk all over you. Because you have your own words, you have your own life, you have your own friends, yet you love him so much and you know that, and he's a big part of your inner world, and he's not going to go away. You're not going anywhere. It's just the fact that there needs to be a clear boundaries, a clear responsibilities, and you need to stay like a goddess. You need to stay like a princess. You need to stay in your inner self. That's how you're going to get respect from him. The respect that you always wanted and the respect that you always craved. There is a good book that I've read many years ago, that Nice Girls Finish Last, which just shows, and there is another one, that Men Love Bitches. It's a nice read, both of the books. I recommend it. It's just going to show you that if you're too nice and too overgiving and too over-pleasing, and not just to men, it's towards your colleague, towards your friends, towards your family members, towards anyone, you're always going to end up last. Because people will learn that you don't have boundaries, and people will learn that they can do anything with you, and you're still going to be forgiving, you're still not going to get mad, you're still going to be like, okay, maybe next time, whatever. Or actually, I was going to say it's my birthday today. Yay! So I'm very happy. I just can't believe that I'm already 31 this year, and we learn so much. Sometimes I feel like what I've been given by God, maybe my family, it's very challenging. Maybe the friendships that I had were very challenging. And I mean, everything is very challenging, but the relationship that I established and the relationship that we had with my husband is just so amazing. And it's on like next level. I have a feeling that sometimes people being in a relationship after 20 years in the relationship, they don't have what we have right now. Was it easy? Was it rose and whatever and unicorns? No. It was very hard sometimes. But we went through it and we got stronger. Our relationship is even on the deeper level, emotionally, physically. Everything is just going into the really right direction. And sometimes you just can't give up. You need to be going and growing and letting him be himself, and allow him to grow next to you. And if that grow required that he's going to be doing more, that he's going to pick up some things that you don't like, allow him to grow as well. There is nothing good about the fact that he's coming back from work and playing PlayStation all night because he's tired. Okay? I'm not even talking about the situation when he's coming back from home and he just starts drinking and abusing you, because if that's the relationship you're in, get out of it as soon as possible. I think men can get changed, but they can get changed for the right person. And sometimes you're just not the one. Sometimes you're not the right person to change him for the best or better version of himself. And you need to remember that you're not his mom, that you are not a professional person that, things that require some mental health support. You're not the one. And you don't have an academy how to, you don't teach men how to be men. That's not why you're here. So if you feel like you hit the brick wall, and there's sometimes maybe you're going to try everything and that's not going to work, but in certain situations you are not right. Sometimes you still can and you should look for even more help, get the courses, read the books, and even try some more things to make your relationship good. There are moments when it's just not good enough and you need to leave. Anyways, how to not be a doormat. That's a very interesting subject, because you can show him very early in the relationship that you're going to do everything. And that's how he's going to get treated by you, and that's how he's going to treat you. So reversing that, it can be very hard and difficult, but it can be very fun as well when you see some small reactions, the small changes that happens. And once you're going to see that, you will be amazed and pleased, And if that's going to continue and he's truly doing this to make you happy, which is how he should be doing and why he's doing it, this is why he should be doing this, then you're going to want a bit more and you're going to want a bit more. And then you're going to get to the point when you are in the right place, both of you, not just you. Don't be selfish and say like, okay, so from now on, I'm not going to lift my finger, you do everything, because he needs his life, he needs his time, he needs his own energy, and he needs to be happy within himself as much as you need to be happy. So find the right person to grow with. Don't rush into the relationship, and definitely don't rush into sexual stuff, because that's the easiest part. When I see women who just go to bed with random people, random men, and they expect the men to act their part, I just cannot believe that this is still what we imagine. Somebody told us that we need to be independent and that we can act as a man and be happy, and that's absolutely not true. And I think more and more women those days, they waking up, they see that what they've been through, it's not giving them what they actually want and desire. So you need to reverse. You need to go to the reverse mode and come back where you were. Come back to your own femininity. Come back to receiving, not giving. Come back to receiving, not chasing. Come back to be a queen, not a doormat, not a maid. Come back to where you're supposed to be as a woman, as a human being. Yeah. Not always easy. It requires work. Yes. It requires you not being triggered after every move and action and reaction. Just don't move. Just feel like I'm a wall, okay, I'm a tree. It doesn't matter that it's very windy outside. I'm not going to move. And from the personal point of view, we are in Poland. So what you can see behind me is a rental property. And I am buying my grandma's property, so it's going to be very exciting times. And I'm probably going to stay in Poland for a good few more weeks until Peter's going to join me. We will do some tests, some laboratory tests and checking our health and everything. And then we'll probably get back to England, because very soon we're going on holidays. Yay, we're going to Crete. I cannot wait. It's been so amazing last year that I just really, 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 for the first time ever, I wanted to get back to the same place. So that would be nice. And we're probably going to have a wedding back in May. So so it's going to be very, energetic and times, and a lot of things going to happen. But I'm sure they're very positive things. And, we can see a lot of positive change in ourselves. I hope you enjoy this subject. And let me know if you want to know some more, because I feel like I just got to the basic stuff and then really want to explore and tell you more about it. Let me know, and I love you so much. Bye.